My next guest is T. Tran with Imperium Property Management and Consulting. Thank you for being here, T. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Julie.
I wanted to talk to you about how the City of Sparks is using $85,000 of CARES Act funding to help with a renter mediation program. And that's going to be kind of facilitated through your company. Can you tell us about that program?
So the great thing about the option of mediation is nothing's happened yet. We know that right now we're under an eviction moratorium, so no paperwork can be filed, and we want to get in and be able to talk to people before that filing happens. So anyone who's behind on their rent or landlords who are trying to collect and not having any luck can come to us and we can try and help them out before it hits the court system.
So renters that aren't able to pay their rent, landlords who aren't collecting their rent, they can both sit down with your company, kind of talk it out, and you can be that mediator.
Exactly. We want people to be able to find a solution amongst themselves. And actually that's what the governor and our attorney general has been touting this entire time is, hey, everyone, let's try and work something out. Can you guys find a resolution? Because every case is so unique. So having a mediator involved kind of helps steer that conversation and allows people to tell their sides of the story without feeling attacked or defensive. And I think it helps just open that dialogue because I think a lot of that communication is unfortunately broken down with everything that's happened.
So how else is that a benefit? I know we talked a little bit about keeping things out of the court system and the expense of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, evictions, you know, they're tragic in a way. You're looking at on the renter side, they haven't been able to pay their rent. Now they have to go to court, and unfortunately, if they can't come to some sort of resolution, they're going to be evicted and locked out. So now there's a cost associated, right? Now they have to try and find somewhere else to live. What we're really worried about is actually displacing people into our vulnerable homeless population.
Right.
There are, I don't know if you saw the article, but Reno and Sparks has one of the highest costs of living right now. And rentals are at an all-time high. So it's tough when you're leaving somewhere, now you have an eviction on your record. How do you go scrape together a new security deposit and try and move somewhere? It's a really difficult situation. On the landlord side, filing all those eviction costs and paperwork, I mean, it costs thousands of dollars by the time we're all said and done. The fees, the court costs, the sheriff's costs, the legal processing costs, there is a huge process that happens here. And a lot of our landlords actually aren't really familiar with how to navigate those things. So you're looking at just a monetary and an emotional cost to our community, and it's really tough.
So this is kind of the beginning process of saying, hey, before we go that way, before there's a lot of money, costs incurred, let's sit down, let's bring this to the table, let's talk about it and see if we can find a solution beforehand.
Absolutely, because people don't know what their resources are, what their options are. I think right now a lot of people feel hopeless. They don't, they've lost their job due to COVID, their hours have been, broken down because of COVID, whatever the situation is. And we just want to ensure that they know that there's options out there. Both Reno and Sparks have been great about providing rental assistance, but a lot of people don't know how to get that assistance.
Right.
And they assume that they're actually not eligible for that assistance. So a lot of people that we're talking to actually are, and they don't know. So we're able to actually steer them towards the existing resources that are out there and help them get some funding so they can stay in their place, landlords can get compensated, and we can all keep going together and working through this. So there's a lot of different things that mediation can help with there.
And I liked what you said because we do have some rental assistance available. We've been putting some messaging out about it. So I love that you'll be able to reiterate that, let people know that that's available. Reno has that, Washoe County, that kind of thing. So
yeah, our entire region has been amazing about understanding that this is such a huge problem. And so the City of Sparks has been diligent. I mean, they have been really on top of understanding, okay, where can we best use our CARES Act funding? And I know that first round, that all went into our community in some way, shape, or form with these great programs or with rental assistance. The City of Sparks has been just on top of that. So it's really, really encouraging to see. But now the key is getting the citizens to understand, hey, we have some help out there for you. Let's get you that assistance.
Right, exactly. And there is a lot of misinformation out there, so I'm glad you mentioned that, because I see a lot of the questions on social media and such that people aren't thinking that they're eligible or they don't know how to apply. So definitely appreciate you helping us get that word out there. And like you said, City of Sparks is definitely wanting to make sure this money gets out into the community, that we can help our most vulnerable population.
Absolutely.
So thank you. How do people find out about this mediation program? Where can they go?
So our website is www.nncepp.com. It's Northern Nevada COVID Eviction Prevention Program. I know it's a little long, but it's exactly that. We are here to prevent evictions due to COVID in Northern Nevada. They can visit us at our website, and depending on if they're a landlord or a tenant, they're going to fill out whichever form applies to them. Put your information in there, and one of our mediators is actually going to reach out and get any further details we need, and actually, set up that mediation and figure out what we can do. So.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Anything else that I missed that you might want to mention?
No, the only eligibility requirements for our program is that you've been affected by COVID. So if you lost your job, your hours were reduced, you had to stay home due to childcare, if it's COVID related, that's all we care about. We don't care how much money you made beforehand. There's no income requirements. We just want to know that it's COVID that really affected you, and like I said, we can help steer you to a lot of different resources that are available right now.
Great.
So.
Thank you. Such great information. So appreciate it. Thank you, T.
Thank you.
I'm excited to introduce my next guest. We have Lieutenant Governor Kate Marshall, and we have the CEO and President of the United Way, Michael Brazier. And we're going to talk today about delivering with dignity. Can you tell me how the program got started? Just tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, that was very exciting, actually. The program started in Las Vegas in March, and I heard about it and realized that this was something we had needed already in Reno and Sparks. And so on a Saturday, I called Michael and left a message and thought, oh, he's not going to call back. I mean, I called on a Saturday, but no, United Way, he calls back on Saturday. And I said, look, we have this issue where we have all these small businesses, independent, local businesses, who are sitting there dying on the vine. And we have all these people who need food. Why don't we put these two together? And I said, I don't know, just tell me what you think about it. And he said, I don't have to think about it. Right?
Definitely, yeah.
So, and then United Way, really, we spent, how long was it? 8 days, 9 days.
9 days to launch.
From that Saturday.
Wow.
So.
And so then the cities and the county kind of came along, and we are giving CARES Act funding, I think $100,000 from Sparks and Washoe County and Reno also, towards the program. So what does that look like, and how does that work?
So every meal costs $6, right? So those funds from the CARES Act help make sure that we can continue this program. When we originally launched in May, our thought was maybe we'll go to Labor Day, right? We'll get Labor, and then we keep pushing it back, and now because of these funds, we're able to go throughout the end of the year to make sure our most vulnerable are continue to be fed.
The $100,000 from Sparks is really going to fund about 16,500 meals. So think about that, 16,500 meals delivered to people who, my husband knocked on a door, the door was open, a woman seemed to be talking to herself, he wasn't really sure what was happening, and it turned out she was talking to her cat, saying, shall we split a can of cat food? So wow. We are delivering meals, really good meals, to people who are in need in our community.
And you're working with local restaurants, correct, to make those meals, catering companies, restaurants,
yes,
am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That are then delivering the meals to the most vulnerable.
I think that's
community.
what's great about this program, right? We think about how we respond in a pandemic is we have to reimagine how we work together in the private and nonprofit sector and the government sector, and this is exactly how we did it. So not only are we serving those, we're able to work with small business restaurants who had to lay off their employees because of the shutdown, and through this program we've been able to save 10 local restaurant jobs, 4 here in Sparks with Blend Catering, And my favorite story is from Mark Esty at Liberty Food and Wine Exchange. He was able to bring his favorite dishwasher, who's been with him for 15 plus years, back on staff because of this program. So to think of that relationship he has so close with this man who wasn't able to work, he didn't have work for him, and he was able to bring him back so that he could continue to work to feed his family as well.
Wow.
So it's
a
a
great
win-win.
program. It's just such a win-win, and I'm really excited to just kind of bring some light to it and let people know about it. How do people find out about this program, and how do they go on to say, hey, I need a meal, I need some help, or how can a restaurant or a caterer get involved?
Yep. So if you are interested in and think that you need meals, you can visit deliveringwithdignityreno.sparks.org. On there is an email address and a phone number that you can call to get more information about how you can qualify for the meals. For restaurants, right now we're at our cap. We're always looking for additional restaurants for the future, and we can kind of put you on that list, and you can email us at dwdrenosparks@uwnns.org.
So when you think about it, this is an option of last resort. And so the people that we are really serving are people who are at high risk of getting COVID, and any of their family members who may be living with them, because really in this time they need to be bubble wrapped, right? And they're not being served currently, and they don't really have the means, not only financially, but maybe socially. Maybe their family's not there to help them make ends meet. So we call that triple threat. And if you meet that criteria, either a nonprofit, we have about 15 nonprofits we're working with, or if you call the number, UNR School of Social Work has people who will answer that call to help you.
And Michael, I wanted to talk to you too. There's opportunities for people to help out. How can they do that?
Yeah, this program relies on volunteers, right? So United Way manages the volunteers. We need anywhere from 8 to 10 volunteers every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 3:30, and you get a route to deliver meals, anywhere from 7 to 10 meals. It's best fit routing, so you're not going to be going from Sparks to South Reno and back to Sparks. If you're delivering, it would all be in the same area. And we need volunteers, so if you're interested in volunteering, you can sign up at uwnns.org/DWD.
Great. I hope we get a lot of people signing
The
up.
volunteers, we call them food heroes, because delivering those meals and going up the doorstep, knocking on the door, and making someone's day, you're a hero.
That's great. Thank you so much. I am really excited about this, to put this out there, so thank you.
Thank you.
So we know through this pandemic there are people that are just definitely in need. And what an amazing program for people that are really homebound, that can't get out, to get meals delivered to them. And they're not just any meals, they're great meals, right?
Yeah, they're delicious restaurant quality. I mean, it's stuff, steak with chimichurri sauce. And
Yeah.
every time I deliver food, I'm like, oh, this looks so good. I just want to.
I mean, so like one of the women that we delivered to, what's her name? Beverly?
Beverly, yeah.
Beverly. So Beverly, when we first delivered to her, she came down with a cart so that we would put the meal in the cart, because she was very nervous about getting close. And we are masked up and gloved up. And she had a little notebook, and she says, honey, I need to take down your information because I am 90.
She was 90.
90 years old, and I need to cook for myself. And she says, so I don't want these meals, because at 90, you have to do things for yourself. So then her daughter called her and said, Mom, what are you doing?
You don't have to cook for yourself.
Please take these meals. You don't have anything. And her daughter was in North Carolina and so couldn't help. And so she called back and she says, well, my daughter says I should take meals once a week. And then she was like, it's so nice to not have to try to figure out how to cook. And she didn't have any means. So Beverly
And
is
really
one
can't
of our
get to the
favorites.
grocery store either.
No, she used to do a lot of volunteer work, but with COVID, has to stay inside, right? We also have people who have just recently been discharged from the hospital, and they really are trying to recover, and so they need to stay inside. We have a lot of veterans who have served our country, and now we should serve them.
Oh, it's just a great program. What did I miss? Anything about the program that you'd like to talk about?
Well, part of the issue is not just giving people meals, but giving people meals that have dignity and hope served with them. Sometimes we've had students include little notes saying the best is yet to come. So, you know, it's the idea that we are doing this together as a community, and we are doing it with you.
Right. Oh, thank you. Thank you both for being here and telling us about this program. And we will be getting a lot more information out on our social media channels about how we're spending CARES Act money, how we want to get it out into the community, and this Delivering with Dignity program is just one great way. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our next edition.